Morning. You are speaking with Adam Metcalf, otherwise known as Headroom. It's a long one now. I think I started to get into electronic music at the age of 14. I had a very kind of fun and popular sister who was 2 years older than me. Who was super into the beginning of the rave, kind of the 90s rave scene. And my mum managed a band, and I was always around music and stuff, but weirdly it was electronic music that really grabbed me, and I started to hear some of the music my sister was listening to, and I think she even snuck me into a club because she was dating some kind of guy linked to a club. I remember being in a DJ booth at 14, hiding from being seen, because I looked like I was 12. And I think that was my first kind of club experience, was hiding in a DJ box, just watching a DJ play while, again, trying not to get thrown out of the space. I spent every kind of bit of pocket money I had on music, and my parents, I think it was my gran, gave me some kind of, I forget if it was like a 16th birthday gift, but it was like it was like quite valid, like £1,000. And I spent that on DJ gear. And best money ever spent for me. So this progressive sound of psytrance really hooked me, and around that time, I think I was still 17, almost 18, I went to my first psychedelic event in Zambia called Solips, and we were in the middle of nowhere listening to outdoor wild psytrance, and my dad let me drive his Land Cruiser with my friends all the way from Harare to Zambia, which was kind of ridiculous looking back, but what a cool dad. So I think, as you say, playful is a pretty good word for me. The whole point of being in psychedelic trance for me was kind of like, it felt like there shouldn't be any barriers or boundaries to what you do. So because I also wanted to kind of bring something that wasn't there in that scene, I started to pick things that were missing for me, and I would also kind of cherry pick the things that I did like that were in the sounds and being made. So yeah, there was I would say kind of techie, fun, funky, quirky is a big one for me. I'm quite humorous, so I try to be. It gets sadder as you get older, I think. But, I want the experience to be fun for people. I think life is so serious. I don't think your music has to be serious all the time. And I think you can still have a psychedelic experience with a bit of humor. I mean, currently and for many years now, Origin Festival is a huge favorite of mine. I think it's just such a world-class event. It's like it's got that true festival feeling. So that's a real highlight locally for me. Over the years, for sure, Alien Safari, Vortex have been pivotal in creating the sound and scene in South Africa, so huge shout out to them. Cubase by Steinberg, on the latest version, been there since version 2, and at the time it was sort of the leading DAW, so there wasn't much competition for it until Ableton came out, and then there was Logic, but you had to be an Apple user to be on Logic originally. And it just works for me. It's very customizable. You can program lots of shortcuts. It's fantastic for editing your audio. And it's like, if it isn't broke, don't try to fix it. It was my hobby. It's the thing I would do in my free time. It's kind of what grounds who I am. The drive to do it, I guess, stems from the studio and making the music, because I don't know who I am or what I would do without that. I feel everyone in life needs a core passion that fulfills them and drives them and just makes them feel whole. If it allows you to earn money from it, then that's obviously a real victory and a joy, and that's sort of where I've luckily been the last so many years. But it is tough. It's always up and down. The scenes change. Your popularity lulls and kind of grows. And I guess staying true to why you started in the first place, But I would not pretend that it hasn't been tough at times. But I just love it too much to kind of worry about the woes. There's a lot of layers to what makes a kind of scene sustainable. when it's small, that's simple in a way. You've got less hurdles, whether that be licensing events. If it's small, if it's 50 people, you can gather them and have an underground party free. Everyone chips in a few bucks here and there and everyone's happy. But the moment it starts to scale, there's rules, there's laws around gatherings, and that's not easy to navigate for everybody, especially in an underground scene that doesn't have the kind of the backing and the money that, say, sponsorship brings in. If you look at a lot of the festivals that thrive in the world today, most of them are sponsored to the hills. They almost don't have their own individual brand attached anymore because they've sold every ounce of them. So a big part of our psychedelic scene is that it's for the most part unsponsored. It's these musical gatherings that really kind of glue the scene together. You obviously people have their own sort of community and culture outside of these festivals, but I feel like it's the festival that is the heartbeat of it all. Without that coming together, that celebration of our kind of quirky differences, it can all fade away pretty quickly, because I feel as much as we're connected through the media and social media today, we are more alienated than ever before at the same time. It's going through changes. It's quite vulnerable at the moment, I feel. It's lost its some attendance and scale and size. It's interesting because if you look at, like, say, an Origin festival, which is only once a year, that wouldn't sort of give a foreign observer any belief that the scene is struggling, because that is a thriving festival. But it's only annual. It's not all the time. And there was once upon a time where you could go every single weekend to a festival in Cape Town, and there would be minimum 1,000 to 1,500 people at every one. It was just thriving, and almost too much so. Probably not good for its own sort of health. But yeah, I think right now it's going through some changes. I would love to run them simultaneously, side by side. The intelligent thing for me was I just love techno, and when I first sort of started to hear a lot of underground techno was on these trips to Brazil and overseas, and it was when techno was actually rebounding out of its lull. It lulled big time. And it was when it first started coming back, it was weird and wonky and psychedelic, and there was space, and it actually I likened it to that early progressive psychedelic trance I talked about, where it was minimal, spacious and deep and dark and everything in between. And so that kind of hooked me on where techno was, because it was something that psytrance wasn't. It's also super fun to mix. It's different. I like the differences. Understand why you're getting into it. Like, don't come into this thinking it's just like all rock and roll, fun and easy, and you're going to get gigs and you're going to get to be a center of attention. Like, none of that will get you far in the scene. Like, I think people who come in with those intentions and narrow sort of aspirations are going to be sadly let down. I think if you're very passionate about music, period, that's going to carry you through this slow journey into being able to kind of perform, make and express and share it. It is a long, slow journey. I think only your passion can carry you through it. I think focus on being who you are, really enjoy it, because the only reason I got where I was is because I was obsessed with it and I loved it. And I just had fun with it. And if you enjoy it that much and you don't take it too seriously, just love it for what it is before it becomes your job, before it becomes something you need to kind of sustain yourself from, because that will take away some of that pure fun and and enjoyment. So yeah, just commit to why you love it, and try not to fall apart when it's not going the way you think. Just treat it as a passion first. Might be a good time, given the nature of the scene, and I think we are lacking especially in the trance scene, of like new upcoming successful producers. There haven't been enough. not for a long time. There are a couple talents, but some of them don't get past that kind of barrier of being discovered, and then they give it up, and that's sad. So yeah, I feel like it is coming up to a time where I need to offer more of myself in terms of feedback. Maybe I will add a little bit of value to that and ask for a little kind of remuneration, just to help me kind of going, because things are not always easy, especially when your scenes in a lull. I also need to eat. But I do need to probably start giving back more. I think it'll be good for me. It'll be a really full circle, wholesome thing to do, and I no doubt will enjoy helping. So I'm hoping, I don't want to say quote me on it, but this will be something I'm going to start putting more attention on.